spooky friends, and welcome to an episode of Storytime with the Scarish Podcast.
Woo!
I am Robin Grace, and I'm out of breath, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And tonight we're going to share some awesome stories with you guys.
Indeed we are. I'm going to lead with this one story that goes like this. It goes, there's a guy who says, hey, you have 30 seconds to get in your seat before we're live. And someone does not respond. So she had to run up the stairs with a hot cup of coffee and then pick a cardigan or whatever these things are called to wear for you fine folks. I have never seen a human being panic more in my life, where it's like there's 40 options. Every one of them is gorgeous. You look amazing. And she had to touch each one of them individually before she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then she finally just fucking picked one and sat down. So I'm so happy we're here with you folks tonight. And thank you to everyone who's listening to this right now and doesn't watch the audio versions. You don't realize there was like maybe a 60-second delay. Nothing too big, nothing too bad.
Cool.
So Storytime episodes are episodes where we read the stuff that you wonderful folks have sent to us. And we call those homegrown horrors because they've either happened to you or a friend you know, or you made them up. Please don't do that. If you want to reach out to us with a story that you have had, it can be anything. It can be a coincidence that you had that was really weird. It can be something spiritual. It can be a ghost story. It can be a really creepy haunting story. It can be something deeply personal if you want to share it. It does not have to go out on the episode. If you just want to communicate it to someone, you can email us at storytime@scarish.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Click like on the page if you go and check that out, but you can message us directly there. You can also join the Scarish Spooky Friends group on Facebook, which is fun stuff, tons of memes. Someone posted a meme this week, which was... comment a horror movie that starts with the first letter of the name of the person who commented before you. And it's like 65, 70 comments deep right now. And I realize we have a lot of listeners that have names that start with A, and we're just running out of horror movies that start with A. We've gone through so fucking many of them. So it's not always serious stuff, but you can go join us there. Go to our Discord server. Best way to do that, go to scarish.com. That is our website. We own it. If you go to contact us, there's a little thing at the top of that. You can actually just send us your story right then and there. You don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. And if you want to tweet at us at ScarishPod, and Instagram is at ScarishPodcast. Now I'm out of breath. There's a lot of different ways you folks can reach out to us. We appreciate everyone that does. It's always really fun to hear from you folks. And I really enjoyed this past week because we did the Superstition recap, which made that episode like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And it was like,
so long.
I didn't finish editing that episode until 3 hours before it went live. And I was just like, dear God, I have a job interview tomorrow. So I had to shave my face for that thing. So that's why it's cold. My chin is cold right now. All three of them. So.
Oh my God.
Fun stuff, but I think I'm gonna. It's funny though. I think I'm gonna start because I think you got your stuff pretty much set up.
Stuff set up.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. It's fine.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this first email begins. Hello, spooky friends. That includes you guys.
Everyone
so
yell
everyone.
hello. Hello.
If I can respond, I expect everyone to respond.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Okay, so it goes. My name's Ashley, and I found you guys on Spotify. Oh.
Shout out to Spotify. I was drinking coffee. I apologize.
Let me just start by saying I started listening to you guys in August, and it is currently November 12th. Wow, it is currently January
21st, I think.
23rd.
23rd. Holy shit. 23rd. I don't even know
I
what
went
day
to school today. That's the only reason why I know. And I'm officially all caught up. So you are super caught up now that it's been like
Indeed.
3 months.
I will take this moment to break in to remind you wonderful listeners that now is a really good time to submit your stories, because through the holidays people have shit to do, and I get that. And there's always like a lull in numbers, and there's also a lull in submissions. So we are going to catch up, and there is a solid amount of stories left to do. We're not worried about running out of stories anytime soon, but send your story in right now. If you're worrying like, oh my God, then we'll get to my story for half a year. No, like now's the time. So if you're listening to this, be like, press pause, send us your story, storytime@scarish.com, and then go back to listening to the episode. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Ashley. Good work.
It continues. I wanted to wait to send something because I wasn't sure if I was going to remember something because of an episode. Smart.
Yeah, that is
Solid.
smart.
I absolutely love listening to you guys, but for some reason... Robin always activates Bixby on my phone, and it's never Adam. You know what's funny is...
She does it to her phone, too.
I do it all the time, and I don't know why. Maybe I mumble my words or something, and it ends up sounding like Bixby.
Sometimes you mumble your words, I think, when we're not recording, but a lot of time... I don't think I've ever had problems when I'm, like, editing where I'm like, man, she mumbled that. I've never said that to you in, like, the 3 years we've been doing podcasts, so... There's some combination of words that you use that sounds like Bixby to Bixby because your phone's activated
this phone
like
is
4
just
or
gonna
5
start,
times.
Everybody that has an Android phone is just going to be like, what the F?
Okay, Google. Hopefully that activates your Google. What's the Amazon one? Hey, Alexa. I just hope all your devices are fucking fighting each other right now.
Okay, so continuing on. you guys are what I wish to find in someone someday. That's very, very sweet.
That is very nice.
But I want to strangle him sometimes.
It's true. And I want to murder her sometimes. Like when I'm sitting here and the thing says it's story time and there's no one sitting next to me and no one responding to me from downstairs.
You know what's very nice though is your mom was about to make a cup of coffee for herself. And I went down there and she literally told me like, oh, you can move my mug out of the way and make your coffee first. And
that is very sweet.
That's the sweetest thing.
Quick shout out to Let's Go Polt. They have just donated 100 bits. And the message they used is, gonna listen to the podcast. Cheers for the Terran sticker, heart. Hell yeah. That's a StarCraft fan right there. I'm a Toss, but I gotta love the Terran too.
Okay, see, I have a Terran hoodie, and it just has the Terran symbol on the back. And I swear to you, all of you StarCraft fans, you will cringe. But there are people out there that have been like, oh, you like Legend of Zelda? And
it looks nothing like a Triforce.
I'm just like, why are you
by the way, are her
talking
earrings
to me right
tonight.
now? Oh, yeah, I have Triforce earrings on.
I'm looking behind the camera. Directly behind the camera is her scarf that has the symbols for Toss, Terran, and Zerg, which looks really good too.
Oh, thanks.
We're huge fucking nerds.
We're
as
very
you can
big nerds.
Probably
but
tell.
I was just like, how can you think that that's the Triforce at all? Like, you're obviously, one, not a StarCraft fan. Two,
not a Zelda fan.
Legend of Zelda fan. Like,
you should be a fan of keeping your fucking mouth shut. Basically, is what she's saying.
So I'm just like, okay. Anyway, continuing on.
Yes, let's get back to it.
So the email continues. I'm 22 and will forever be single, though. You'll find someone.
Yeah, there's someone out there for
you.
everyone.
Yes.
When you listen, especially when you listen to true crime stuff, I think the My Favorite Murder ladies do it the best. They always mention how crazy these people were, and they had significant others. You know what I mean?
Not saying that you're crazy, Ashley.
No, what I'm saying is that if crazy people have a significant other and there's someone out there for those people, you're going to be fine. Don't stress about a dog. Okay. That's what I'm saying. There's someone out there for literally everyone.
Okay. Not too easy to find Hispanic dudes in Maryland my age that won't think I'm weird for liking scary things. That's so weird.
There's a phobia, too, with a lot of Hispanic and Latino culture. I know coming from a dad who would scream at me if I went Scooby-Dooing it all, be like, you won't live in this house no more. If you bring something back, you don't live here no more.
I got, why are you not a doctor yet?
Yeah. They're different things.
Okay, so anyway, I don't really have
shout out to J.B. Watt, who just resubscribed for the third month in a row.
Thank you guys
J.B.
so
Watt.
much. I don't really have scary things to say, just some odd experiences that I don't know if they're paranormal or not. It's up to you. I grew up in an apartment complex, and the first 2 apartments I lived in, I always felt like someone was watching me. I lived there until I was 11 when we moved to the second apartment. I could never walk down the hallway or have doors open because of that feeling. I would also see things moving from my peripheral vision. Things would move.
I just got done telling someone, they asked me like, hey, have you had a lot of emails about shadow people? And I was like, we do. And we also get emails about people seeing shit in their peripheral vision.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was weird. They were asking me that question, like, just to test the waters. Like, is this a common thing? And I was like, it is. You're probably being followed by a demon. So.
Who did you say that to?
Nick's girlfriend.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So she was just taking a general interest in the podcast while also telling us about Monster and Atlanta Monster. So shout out to Lindsay. Thank you for telling us about that. And definitely not Nick. Fuck you, Nick.
Okay. Things would move, and to this day, I say my memory is bad because it's how my parents would put it. Oh, man, I can't. If my kid came up to me and was like, I see things, and once I turn to look at them, they're gone, I wouldn't say, like, you're remembering wrong. Like, why would you tell your kid that?
I think what she's saying here is that because things are moving, they're telling her she has a bad memory because you don't remember where you left something. Although that's a pretty good excuse. Like, anytime your kid tells you they see something, it's like,
I see what you're saying.
You're remembering your memories wrong. That just happened. Like, your brain is broken, child.
Whenever I felt someone was behind me, my mom would tell me it was my guardian angel. Until it's not, and it's a demon, and then you're dead.
So did the mom say that whole thing?
No.
Oh, okay, you chimed in on that one.
Like...
I really liked, we got an email before that talked about how like their family member died. I think it was their mother, and then all those toys activated. And like that initially it was like, maybe this is my mom saying hello or goodbye or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, no, this is something like malevolent. Yeah. Because it's like they try and convince you that it's a guardian angel. So, you know, be on your toes for people. Like,
yeah. Well, it's
someone's trying to catfish you and it's a demon.
Is it it's Annabelle creation, where they think it's
an angel.
An angel. Oh, thank you so much, Meadows, for subscribing.
Shout out to Meadows. Also, I have a story I must tell you folks about
after this email.
The wonderful Meadows and how horrible of a human being I am.
So as soon as this email's done, you can tell the story.
Indeed, I will.
So Also, I've been practicing my psychic abilities, not talking to dead people, but more on trusting my instincts. However, I will say that I tried an app called Keen to Talk to psychics when I was 18 because I wanted to know if I would find my significant other at some point. She told me that if I tried to rush things using social media or apps, nothing would work out and that the universe had things in store for me love-wise. That's very cool.
It's a good thing to hear.
Good thing to
That's
say.
a really good thing to hear.
However, of course, I completely forgot by the time I turned 21 and tried many apps at once, like Tinder, Hinge, and others. I met a few guys, but only went on the date with one guy and instantly felt uncomfortable, like I was not supposed to do it, though I could not remember why. I ignored his texts after that because something felt wrong about the date. I ended up remembering about Keen, but not what the psychic had said, and went on to see what they would say. This psychic said I was trying too hard. I had not said anything at that point, and that the universe was already working on getting me to meet my SO, significant other.
Right.
I absolutely love you guys, and just a few things. Hashtag fuck yeah Savumafu. Hashtag I love sweet life of Zach and Cody. Hashtag couple goals. Oh, that's sweet.
That one's nice. I like that one.
Hashtag fuck basements and attics. Car ride to work saviors. Spotify for the win. Adam be nicer to Robin. And I'm done now. Okay, bye, Ashley.
So those are all hashtags?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That was a really good way to end it. So I am nice to Robin. Like, what the hell is that about? I will be nicer, though. I will try. I was very accommodating. I made breakfast today. I made dinner today. I shipped packages today. I did dishes today. I even got the computer up and running and got her emails ready to go when she was downstairs freaking out about getting that coffee.
I packaged the package. You just dropped it at the mail.
I know. I shipped it. I shipped it. I did not, package it. So, I don't know. That was a really good email, though. I do appreciate that. And that's another thing, too. I think when you're younger, you put some pressure on yourself thinking, I need to have found my soulmate by now. I don't know a lot of people that at 22 have found their soulmate, or even the partner they would wind up marrying, or even the first marriage partner that they would find. You're still quite young. You think I'm getting into adulthood. You're starting to feel the pressure of responsibility. Don't rush shit. I was just talking to my friend. I know I just told him to fuck off or whatever, my friend Nick, but he's 34. I'm 33. We have some other friends in our group that are all 30s. None of us have kids. And when we're graduating high school at 18, we're all just we'll probably have kids by 25, 26. And at 25, 26, I uprooted my life and moved out to Las Vegas. I was just I'm out of here. So it's things are not always going to go the way you think they are when you're very young. And when I look back at how I was when I was 18, I'm 33. I'm 15 years older than I was then, I'm what a stupid asshole. You just get to a point where you identify with the parents in the Disney movies instead of the main characters. Right. Where you're Ariel, you're a dumb bitch, man. You don't know anything. You're selling your voice to go meet a boy.
It just reminds me of me as a kid where I was you don't love me or whatever. You won't let me do anything. And
you
it's
don't
just
know me and my boyfriend. We're going to be together forever.
Well, technically her and Eric were together forever.
No, it's a Disney movie. But you see that stuff growing up. And then when you get to be a parent, you're just I'm not even a parent, but I'm old enough to know when you look at Anna and Elsa. It's Elsa should have just fucking killed Hans right off the bat. You know what I mean? And I like that was the first Disney movie where it was just yeah, that was a big mistake. You shouldn't trust a dude you just met.
She trusts Kristoff.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. He has a fucking reindeer. Come on. That's just a good sign. The animals like him.
Okay.
So, anyways, I don't even know what the email was about anymore. But still, I'm just totally kidding. I totally remember. But yeah, I'm just saying, don't put too much pressure on yourself to find your significant other. And if things don't feel right, man, especially when you're dating blind date shit through apps like that.
Yes.
Don't even worry about it. Walk away. Sometimes you have to ghost some people because there's been a lot of instances, especially when I listen to true crime stories, where it's I felt uncomfortable and later I found out that they were violent or they were a serial killer or they had something very wrong with them. And I picked up on it at first. Don't blind yourself to red flags because you're lonely. It's a bad thing to do.
Oh, and don't let yourself get into situations okay, he hit me once, but it's okay.
You don't know him like I do.
Yeah, no, don't put yourself down like that. You deserve better.
Exactly. So right on. So before we move on to the next email, before we get on to the stream chat, I'm going to tell you guys a story about how much of a fucking idiot I am. So yesterday, this is totally true. Yesterday, we were supposed to go to have lunch/dinner. Actually, it was dinner. Straight up dinner. Dinner with our friend Meadows, who's in the chat right now. And it was at 6:30. It was supposed to be on the west side of town. And I told her it was going to be at 7 o'clock. And I didn't even think of it until 6:40 hit. And I got a text on my phone saying, "Hey, are you here?" And I was like, oh God, we're super late. Finish getting ready. We need to fucking go right now. So we hop in the car. I speed my way to what I thought was the correct place. And we got there about 35 minutes late for our dinner. And I'm walking around this fucking restaurant looking for our friends. Like, where are they? They said they were back here, being really rude to a waiter who's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, fuck off,
this
bro.
waiter's
like,
probably like, who are you here to kill?
legitimately, I was like, oh, we're meeting someone, you know? But I'm like getting annoyed because it's like, leave me alone. I'm trying to find someone. I'm really stressed right now. I'm super late. And then finally she looks at me and she's like, where are we supposed to be? And I was like, the Summerlin Mall. And she's like, we're in the Sunset Mall, which is like 45 minutes in the opposite direction. And I was just like, wow.
I was so annoyed.
Yeah, she just had it painted all over her face. And I was like, I texted Meadows. I called him and I was like, I'm so sorry, bro. I went to the wrong side of town. This is all my fault. And I was like, let's take a selfie in front of the Red Robin. So like he knows that we actually are where we are. We're not fucking lying. And like the selfie is like me being like, sorry. And Robin being like, I will fucking kill you. Like just not having it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was totally my mistake. This is my public apology. I'm saying sorry. And I also have something that I have to do at 8 o'clock. He demanded it of me. So my phone should go off at 8 and remind me to do it. And I will.
Okay.
So fun stuff.
Jeebus.
So this one was sent to us, I believe, on Twitter or Instagram. It was actually sent directly to me. So it's going to be addressed to me. Don't be offended that they forgot you. So this is a story from Ted. So it's Ted.
Who's Ted?
Probably
Mosby?
Ted Mosby. Messaging us from the fictional universe that he lives in. And it says, hey, Adam. Hello.
I'm not saying
I knew
hi.
you weren't going to. I want to tell you my own homegrown horror. I was coming home from high school, and like most adolescents, I was exhausted from the tyranny that is school. That is a great sentence, and I love it. I opened my door and realized nobody was home, so I figured it'd be in my best interest to pass the fuck out on the couch. The second my head touched the sofa's fabric cushion, I heard voices. Not one, not two, but as if there was a party of them whispering doubts in my ear.
No way.
I could hear them, but at the same time, there were too many to focus on just one. I managed to get a quote, and this is, okay, I managed to get this, and this is the quote. You're nothing but shit. Nobody in this house loves you, and die. When I woke up, there was the part where I, like any sane human being, would leave the house. Instead, I looked around, said, and went back to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
No ghost would shake the tiredness that I had that day. I also had a few more encounters every time I would be home alone. I have these little Jesus blocks that spell out Jesus, and more times than not, the J of the Jesus blocks would fall forward. Now, the little blocks were placed on a shelf made of glass, a single shelf, mind you. There was no way it would just fall. I wonder if you touched like the thing with a level, if you'd find out that it was actually slanted. But who knows?
It's the spirit of Jesus telling you his name is not spelt with
it's
a J.
actually Jesus. In Jehovah, or no, in Latin, Jehovah begins with an I. So, anyways,
You're watching too much Indiana Jones.
we binged all the Indiana Joneses that are worth watching, so we left out the last one. It had to be pulled by something because they were right against the wall. Okay. No bang from the opposite side, and nothing that was home alone. So it was weird because it kept doing this time and time again.
That's
it
creepy.
never really bothered me that much. That would kind of bother me a little bit.
That would bother me.
That would just be like, the crucifix is on my wall just randomly burst into flames. But aside from the smoke, it never really bothered me that much. That's fucking creepy. Should bother you. I just kind of ignored it and kind of taunted them by saying, is that all you got?
Oh my goodness. Hey demons, it's me, your boy.
I don't want to tell you what to do with your paranormal experiences, and if you want to taunt shit, that's fine. But before you do so, I'm going to go ahead and go back to recommending going Facebook Live just in case something horrible happens to you. It will be recorded. And funny enough, it was. Nothing much happened, but I do have a few more I can type to you guys later. I'm kind of behind on the show, and in parentheses he says, I know, blasphemy. I actually think it's more common to be behind on a show than to be caught up, so don't ever worry about it.
I listened to last podcast on the left, and I am got to be at least 200 episodes behind.
We got into the car, and it was still connected to her phone, and last podcast on the left kicked on, and her sister was like, oh, guess who it is? Because she thought it was my voice. And I'm like, oh, no. Robin doesn't listen to our podcast. Don't worry about that. So they're behind on the podcast. The Picardcast. Oh, my God.
The Picardcast.
The Picardcast. There's a podcast called The Greatest Generation, I'm pretty sure, and it's just all about Star Trek. And I'm just like, that is such a good fucking name. I don't watch Star Trek, but I'm like, I kind of want to listen to it. All right. I'll be trying my best to binge listen. That's all I have for now. I love you guys and keep up the good work. Even when I'm not listening to you guys, I still think about you both. Much love from your friendly ghoul. Thank you so much, Ted.
Nice.
We appreciate you sending that into us. And
even though you didn't talk about me.
He does say I love you both.
Yeah, well, next time.
You didn't give the greeting, but I think this is because it came directly to my personal account. So No big deal. Don't feel too bad. And Robin just did the jerk off motion and flung it in my face. She did that to me at a the screening. It would be a different story if it was the filming. The screening of Iron Man 3 that we got to see early. So there's a bunch of people with their kids, and we're just talking, and Robin just like does the jerk off motion and flings it in my face in like the middle of the theater before the show's on, in front of all these kids. And I just snapped. I'm like, well, she was inappropriate. So I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're just going to jerk off and throw your jizz in my face in front of all these kids? I don't even know what that is, but they're just going to remember when they get older. Like, oh, that dude's face was covered in cum. And she's just like looking at me like, is this just happening right now?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And then we watched Iron Man 3, which I was very disappointed with.
Aw.
It's just, I was really excited to see the Mandarin. It was fucking Sir
Gwyneth
Ben
Paltrow.
Kingsley. And it's like,
she's just so pretty all the time.
yeah, she is cool. Sir Ben Kingsley was supposed to be the Mandarin, and then they're just like, oh, he's fake, he doesn't actually exist. I was like, wow, that would be like if you're watching The Dark Knight and they're like, the Joker's actually fake, he's just an actor. It just pissed me off real bad. So
all right, so this next email addresses both of us.
Well, really quickly, I hate to break in here, but I was supposed to do this before I read my first one. Just a quick reminder to people who are listening, this is January, and you know what that means. JPP, that's right, January Patreon push. So we hit 51. I said that on my last episode. After looking back in, after recording that, we were at 50. Because things do change and people do have to remove their donations or whatever. So if you folks are still thinking about signing up, please don't think because we hit the goal that it's the time to stop. That means it's the time to push even further past it and make sure we don't fall backwards. So go to Patreon. I was going to say January. Go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast right now. If you've ever considered signing up, it's $1 a month. It'll take it out right away. So if you have $1 on your debit card or your credit card and you're like, I can do that right now, go and do it right now. Let us be that impulse buy. Don't buy that candy bar, folks. Buy some Scary-ish.
Don't judge me. I can buy a candy bar if I fucking want to.
I was like, why is she yelling at me right now? I'm so confused. But yeah, please go do that. You get early access to all our episodes, and all the other tiers give you additional stuff as well. We appreciate everyone who signed up so far, and we appreciate everyone who listens, regardless of whether or not you donate financially. But January Patreon push is the best time to go sign up, and we appreciate every single one of you that does that. So I'm sorry for interrupting the email. You can get back to it now.
All right.
Sorry for apparently judging you for trying to convince people to spend $1 on us. So.
No, I can buy a chocolate bar if I want.
Yeah, but you already support us, so there you go.
So this email starts, Hey, Robin and Adam. Hey.
Hello.
The first story here is titled My Ghost Story, and it goes, well, as I said at Disneyland, oh, it's from Billy. Okay, so these guys were so cool. They literally stopped us while we're at Disneyland on Main Street, and we're just like, are you guys Robin and Adam from the Scariest Podcast? And we're like, holy shit, this is happening.
What was cool is that we were having the meetup day, and we had a nice little group of people, and we were walking around Disney. So we thought they were just like, oh, we're here for the meetup, you know?
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, are you guys here for the meetup? And they're like, oh, no, we don't really use social media too much. Like, we didn't know. They just ran into us. And like when we were driving home that night, like I took off the ears that were made for us. Who made those for us?
Sarah.
Sarah made those for us.
Yeah.
And I was taking them off, and I just like set them down, and like we sat down in the car, and we had like a 4-hour drive ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, did we fucking get recognized today? Like, is this real life? Like, it was just such a bizarre feeling. But we hung out with them.
We hung out with them all day, and it was absolutely amazing. It was so fun to get to talk to people and hang out with people and hear their stories.
They bought us something. We were going through.
We always were going through the world of Disney. So we went through the world of Disney, and we always do because we always buy like a souvenir, some sort of tchotchke or something to bring home. Like, we're just going through, talking to them, hanging out with them. And then at the end of the night, after we went shopping,
we were about to get on the tram.
Yeah, and they're like, here you go. And they had bought us Disney stuff. And I was like, oh,
they were paying attention to things we were picking up and putting back. And they bought us some of the stuff. And I was just like, you guys really don't have to do this. Nice. It was so nice. It was absolutely so nice. Oh, my goodness, they're
so nice. You guys are amazing.
Cool.
Shout out to you. Okay.
So now we're going to read your stories.
You can share this in whatever format you want, which we will. I don't know how to start this, but here we go. I'm born and raised in San Diego and lived in an area called Spring Valley. Some consider it a ghetto, but it's a pretty quiet area with a yo dog mentality.
That's hilarious.
Living in an Asian family, they are very fond of gambling. I can attest to this.
Right
My family does it all the time.
Your dad hit big, too, one time, didn't he?
Yeah, when I was like 3.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder if everyone who's like a consistent gambler but not like a compulsive gambler will eventually hit big, or if it's just some people.
All I know is I was a little babe, and maybe I was younger than 3, I don't know, but I was sleeping, and I guess my mom had put me down for a nap or something, but I had randomly gotten up, like I just woke up and laughed hysterically. And I think my mom was in Texas and my dad was in Vegas doing his thing. But I woke up laughing hysterically. My mom's like, what the fuck is going on? And immediately after, my mom gets a phone call from my dad like, dude, I just hit like a 25K jackpot. Like, it was insane.
So it's like his joy transferred to you via telekinetic or telepathic link.
I am just like my dad. Like, I have my dad's personality, and my sister has my mom's personality. Well, my younger sister has my mom's personality. And so I think that that's just like how it kind of worked out. Like, you have certain connections to certain people, like twins and stuff like that. But
you just sat up and started cackling.
Yeah, and as soon as I had gotten up, I just went back down. I just fell back asleep.
If you sit up in the middle of the night and laugh and start cackling, I'm going to shake you like, what did we win? Tell me.
That'd be amazing. Anyway, okay. Asians, family, gambling. So, as a wee lad of 6, I was left home alone numerous times during the nights. I shared a room with my mom and grandma. Co-sleeping is very common in Asian culture.
Which I did not realize until recently, I think.
In that room, there is a king-size bed that my grandma slept in while my mom and I had a gigantic futon, which was bigger than the king-size bed, and was on the floor. My mom's a germaphobe, so it was very clean in that room. Besides the bed, we had a balcony and a skylight-like window thing on the wall. The balcony is a giant glass sliding door with a screen door on the outside and has curtains to keep out the light. It's big enough to where you can put down a sleeping bag and make a makeshift blanket for it to sleep outside. I
cool.
would do it.
This is a good description because I can really see this room in my mind's eye right now.
I can just see the balcony and just imagine myself making a fort out there.
That's funny.
It'd be super cute and super
You're never
fun.
too old to build a fort.
No, except I hate spiders. And when I lived in Hawaii, I would have never built a fort out on our balcony because they had those zip spiders, the ones that would make
I'm like want to interrupt you right now and be like, don't tell me another version of this creature that I'm terrified of.
It's like a black and yellow spider. They're huge. They're like that
Steelers
big.
fans.
So they're like that big. And they make these giant webs. And on those webs, they make like little zippy designs on them too, like thicker webbing in like.
Do they write stuff like
chevron.
pig? That's a Charlotte's Web reference. You also said they're about this big and showed me and the viewers, but all our listeners have no idea how big you're talking about.
Okay, it's like a
$50.
I don't know what a $50 looks like.
Are you fucking kidding me? How old are you? You've never seen a $50?
Show us the dollar.
Is it like double the size of a quarter?
It's like no, I'd say it's a $50. That's a $50, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
a $50.
Or a silver dollar.
But I would never, ever, ever make a fort out there because the last thing I want is one of them crawling into my ear.
Jesus.
Anyway, moving on.
You're inspiring a lot of tangents, which means it's just a really good email that touches us.
It's big enough to where you can put down a sleeping bag, make a fort.
Got it.
So one night, my family decided to go gambling, and on most occasions, my mom closes the balcony curtains because a street light would peer through the balcony doors. On this occasion, she didn't because she wanted airflow to come in to keep the room cool because it was summer. And I remember waking up with a street light glaring in my face.
Hate having light on your face when you wake up.
But it was a school night, and I instantly looked at the clock, thinking it was time to get ready for school, but it was only 3 o'clock. I looked around the room trying to see if anyone was home. Since my mom wasn't next to me, I figured that they went to go play, and as I looked around, I noticed something that wasn't as bright as the room was. As my eyes focused, I noticed it was like a humanoid figure. I tilted my head, and it started to wave at me.
What the
As
fuck?
my child brain started to buffer, I noticed something was off.
Loading.
I like the
loading.
I noticed something was off. I was able to see all of the figure. Half of the figure was coming out of the wall and the other half was outside.
Get the fuck out of here.
Basically, the figure was floating, half of it inside the room and the other half dangling outside. It looked like the door was cutting the ghost in half. I couldn't make out any details of the ghost, but I didn't feel any maliciousness from it either. Basically, what happened during that encounter was that it waved at me, I waved back, and it went on for about 10 minutes. How'd I know it was 10 minutes? Was because I looked at the clock again, and it was 3:10 to Yuma.
Wow. Well done.
I turned back.
Did you like wave it away, like go away?
No,
or...
I just imagined like this. Do you
think it was 10 minutes of waving and staring? Or do you think it was like a wave and then just a consistent staring like, so what are you going to do?
I just imagine 10 minutes of consistent waving.
It's interesting.
Well, you're a kid. You know what I mean? You're just like... Hey.
I would start busting out all my waves. Single hand, double hand.
Princess.
Jazz hands. Princess. Double princess. I just ran out of them. I would not have made it 10 minutes.
So 3:10. I turned back towards the balcony and it was close. I'm just kidding, but it was still in the same spot. So it didn't go away. After I looked at it again, I told it I was going back to bed and it nodded.
Wow.
Shut up.
Maybe this was a guardian angel. We've talked about that already once on the show where it's like you interpret something one way. It could be something different.
Maybe it was because the parents were gone. Kid by himself, door open. Maybe it was watching over the kid.
Maybe.
I remember laying down and waking up the next day like nothing happened. I told my mom about what happened and she asked me what color it was. I told her that it was a black figure and she said that it's okay even though we ended up moving into a different room of the house the following week.
Don't even worry about it.
Sorry,
Burn
that
this
was
place down.
Sorry, that was kind of long. I have a couple more stories to tell. My family are very spiritual, but we believe that our ancestors always watch us and our family is very tight-knit to the point where we protect each other even after we've left the world.
I really like that.
I really do like that.
That's awesome.
I know it's become redundant that people ask if they can send you more, so I'm just going to throw up all the stories I have. All right, so this second one is called Short and Sweet. All my ghost stories come from the same house. This is from my uncle's perspective since it's his ghost story, but I was there to witness what happened. Spending time with my uncle would consist of him taking me to an arcade, then grabbing some Mexican food. On a random night, before we got into the truck, he went to check his brake lights. I'm waiting for him on the passenger side to open the door. Before he gets to the back of the truck, coming from the driver's side, he pauses, walks backwards, and comes towards me. He tells me, I'm going to go in from this side. I look at him funny, and I said, okay. He jumps into the passenger side and moseys onto the driver's side. I hop in right after, and we take off to the arcade. I ask him what happened, and he said he saw a man's head on the truck bed opener.
What?
So he must have seen like an apparition of some type, like where you open the truck bed.
Right.
There's probably like a head floating there or something.
That's fucking crazy.
He said that he didn't want to open his door because he had a bad feeling. And after he told me that, we both said fuck it and went to the arcade.
That's hilarious.
I would be so scared if I saw that.
If I saw the apparition of a man's head floating on like the trunk or just like the bed of a truck, I don't think I would be like, if I go through this other door, that'll probably solve all my problems.
Imagine like walking forward, seeing that, being like, nope, I am just gonna go. I wouldn't even get in the car. I'd be like, yo, get out, get the fuck out.
We're not going to the fucking
anywhere.
arcade today. I'm not risking my life. That's not the game I wanted to play today.
All right, so this third and last one is my mom's ghost story. So my mom told me a couple stories about the house, but the one I remember is about a floating lady that she saw when she woke up. I just imagine the bent neck lady.
Yeah, that's exactly what I pictured too.
At this time, we were sleeping in the guest room. It's as big as the master bedroom, but it's spacey. My mom told me she woke up in the middle of the night seeing a woman in a wedding dress floating in front of our window.
A ghost of a woman in a wedding dress is never a happy ghost.
No.
Because if it was, they would have passed on into the next world, or they wouldn't be haunting while in their wedding dress. That's all I'm saying. The
lady wasn't peering in, but was more just passing by. My mom didn't really do much at this point, just shrugged it off and went back to sleep. How can you do that?
It's like, hey, it's okay. I'm on my way to murder some dude who's cheating on his wife. No big deal.
Oh my gosh.
It's
like,
sleep.
She's just like, I'm looking for some kids to drown in the river.
Yeah, you got any kids? Y'all got any kids that are misbehaving? I don't know what accent that was. Don't ask.
Well, that's it. I'll try to send more spooky stuff as I think of it. Sorry for all the oogity boogities, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, Billy. Those are really good stories.
Those are really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them. So thank you so much for spending time with us and for sending us your stories. It's
Definitely.
awesome.
That was really fun. So I really enjoyed that. I just think it's funny that like everything comes from the same house, because I definitely understand what you mean. And even though I didn't have a lot of creepy stuff happen to me at the house I grew up in, all my nightmares take place there, which is kind of bizarre. Because like I had other houses I grew up in. I've had apartments that have been way creepier. But that house, for whatever reason, is the place that like all of my like spooky stuff that my brain likes to kick out comes from. So I think that's just sort of common. I think there's always one place where like, I don't know. I just always feel like there's one place where all that energy is focused towards a family. where it's like if something weird's going to happen, it's going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like for my dad, that was the house that they had on Carolina Street. For me, it was the house we had on Division. So.
Well, our friend Ralph even has stories from that one house that he grew
God,
up in. I cannot wait
good.
to read those stories.
We need to get Ralph on an episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so good though. Like we've debated, like the biggest debate we have about having Ralph on is whether or not we're going to have him be on a topic episode or have him be his own story time episode.
I think we should do something like the one we had with Armando.
Right.
Armando.
But will it? It's Armando. Will it be like, because with Armando, we didn't have Storytime episodes yet. We didn't have enough emails. And then they started getting more and more plentiful. So now we have a different situation where do we have it be episode 60, like if we did it next week, which we probably don't. We won't have time to do it. But that said, do we have it be a Storytime episode where it's just Ralph's Storytime? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Storytime number 50, Ralph. But I don't know. The reason I say that is because Ralph is such a good personality. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like I want you guys to see him and experience like him live, so you guys can chat with him.
Well, yeah. Why don't we do that? That'd be good. It's not like we don't have any mics for it. So.
Yeah, we have so many fucking microphones in this house.
Yeah. So let's do that. That's a good idea.
Cool. There we go. So we're gonna have Ralph on sometime in the near future, and he'll be plopped right between Robin and I. So that'll be very fun.
All right.
So before I move on into my next email, I do want to let everyone know. We had mentioned before that we are most likely going to be moving the time of the live shows where we record Storytime, because currently we record on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And because of the way the scheduling is working out and the new podcast that's coming in and the fact that these episodes come out on Friday, there was only a few days that we could actually move it to, and only a few time slots that we could slide it in. And so because of that, the new time will be Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Which is also known as the regular time.
Yeah, regular time. We're not changing. So up until September, there will be no changes unless it's like specific for 1 week. But Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m., again, West Coast time is when we're going to be continuing to do these. So if you've never joined us, we have 43 people watching right now. YouTube.com/scaryish or Twitch.tv/scaryish podcast. It's really fun. You guys talk to us while we're reading. We take breaks between the emails and see what you guys thought. Talk to you guys about whatever. And it's really interactive. It's really fun. And we try and read just about everything that gets put up there. Sometimes you folks are talking to each other, and we might not read the conversations between the two of you. But a lot of times we just decide we're going to read them anyways. And so we get into tangents about Golden Girls and things like corn. So that's where that whole Corn Lord thing came from, or Children of the Corn. But yeah, definitely join us Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will be here as often as humanly possible. It is very important to Robin and I, and we've discussed this a lot, to not miss a show. And no matter what, like, I was sick as balls on Monday. I did not want to record. We had to do our research. We had to record. We had to get the episode released. And it's something that it's just something we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not routine. That's just like part of our lives now. So we try and be here as often as possible. And it's kind of funny because I remember seeing an interview with Colin
Kaepernick.
Colin Moriarty from Kind of Funny back when they had first started, before the whole falling out thing happened. Because it's a very successful podcasting like network type thing. And they asked him, like, what's the one thing that you could tell anyone that's starting a podcast or anything like that? And he said consistency. Like, there's going to be a million things out there that do exactly what you do. But if you're the people that never miss an episode, never miss a time, you can set your watch by it. Like, the reliable ones are the ones that make it. And it's funny because the more reliable that we've been, the more I've seen, like, people tell us, like, it's nice to always have it there. You know what I mean? And I feel that responsibility, like we owe it to you folks to have the episodes out on time or to be here. So it's really cool we can stay.
So you're saying you'd like to step in time?
I hate you so much. What I'm saying is I'm really happy we get to keep the episodes the same day and same time. For those of you who can't make it, that sucks. But you can always watch the live episodes on YouTube. They're always there.
Yep.
So if you ever want to participate in it, just check those out and you'll get a good feeling of like what it's like. The chat too is also saved in YouTube. So
is it?
Yeah, the timestamps will come up. So as you're watching it, you'll see the chat from the people come through as well.
Oh, I wish Twitch could do that.
So I don't know if Twitch does that yet, but it's really cool. Once we get to a certain level with Twitch, we can also have those videos last longer than 30 days or 90 days or whatever they're at right now. But YouTube keeps them forever. So
neat.
Just want to let you guys know before I move on into my next story, which I'm about to do. And the subject is kind of scary on this one. It is Lord help me. So let's hope
that's
this is
so creepy.
Let's hope this is funny, and that's just like a facetious line.
Okay.
I hope this wasn't like a 911 call, and it's 3 months late.
911 calls freak me out.
Don't you watch a show called 911 that's all about 911 calls?
Yeah, but it's like not real. Real 911 calls are so creepy and scary, especially ones that are done by serial killers or killers in general, where it's
Why
like,
would they call 911?
well, like
The fat man walks the
didn't you
clouds.
bring up the Menendez brothers or something?
I did, yeah.
And they called 911.
I know. I made fun of the call from Cable Guy where they make fun of that phone call.
Yeah. And it's
I
just
think it was like an Asian gang or something.
Oh my god. Yeah, and it's just insane that these killers just have no souls in them, and they're just like making shit up, and it's so, I hate it. They creep me out.
I don't know. Like, it's so funny because so often people use the word psychopath to describe someone that's like unhinged. But like when you read what a psychopath really is, or if you've ever seen a video with a psychopath, like they just don't feel. Like there's no authentic reaction from a psychopath. Like they don't experience emotions. They're basically like a human robot. Like they just see how other people are and they're like, I'm not like that. So the email starts out like this. Darlings, I return. Hello?
Hello?
That's a creepy way to say it. Hi, it's Bree. I sent you an email in about August. You can read this on the pod if you'd like. This is going to be a long-ass one. I just moved into a house, like a real house, ! Which is so exciting, albeit a little stressful. It's funny. I saw a meme the other day that was like, parent yelling at a child, like, why are you watching YouTube and Twitch and watching someone play a game? That's so dumb. And then in parentheses it says, like, parent sits down and watches an adult buying a house on HGTV.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, I never thought of it that way. And I mentioned it to Robin, like, at least the kid is watching someone do something fun. Like, the parent is watching someone do something super fucking stressful.
Yeah, but it's so cool, the results.
It is, but like people always say like it was the most stressful thing I ever did. Like moving is so stressful, like buying a house is the worst thing ever.
But then you get the super sexy property brothers come in, like,
that's
to make
different.
your house super nice.
If Jonathan's coming into my house, that's different.
Oh my god, I love him.
All right, getting back to this email before you ask him to hit you up like for the 15th time.
He lives out here too, damn it.
They do live out here. We're renting from a family friend / my father-in-law's boss. We moved in October 27th. Everything has been fine for almost the first 2 weeks. Yesterday morning, I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning. Our TV was on and was full blast. Fucking hate it. Flashbacks from childhood. Which was weird because I remembered it being off when we went to sleep and also most likely not on full blast. I shut it off and went back to bed. When I woke up at 5 for work, I got up, went potty, and when I came out, the kitchen light was on. It was off when I left the bathroom.
That's creepy.
It was just my crappy and it wasn't just my crappy eyesight. From my bedroom door, you can see right into the kitchen, and the bathroom is immediately to the right. Trying to push past it, I just went about my morning routine and left for work. When I got home from doing my morning route, I'm a school bus driver. That's cool. I want to know what bus you drive because like some buses were lettered and some buses were numbered, and my school system had them numbered, so I'm like, bus 2, fuck yeah. Like if I have any friends from middle school or elementary school that listen to this podcast, if they heard me say bus 2 wherever they are right now, they're like, bus 2.
Wow.
We were a tight group. I'm just saying. I still remember the route we drove and like where all my friends live because of that shit. Okay. So I was going to unpack some more stuff. I walked into the living room and found our family sign that my dad made for us on the floor. It had been on the wall. So at this point I started thinking, hey, these weird things are happening. Maybe something is off. Maybe I'm just stressed over and overthinking things. So I told my husband about it. He started freaking out, which is not good energy. Now, me and my 2 closest, I'm guessing friends are supposed to be in there. So now me and my 2 closest friends are hardcore into pagan type stuff. We all have our own tarot cards. We used a Ouija board at my apartment before and smudged afterwards. Our minds and body are open to the, quote, other things. Minds, I understand. Body is a weird word to toss in there for being open to, quote, other things.
I don't know. Like when you're in that spiritual place, you like get in touch with nature and your body is more like calm and you know what I mean? Okay.
I sent them a message and asked if they would come by this weekend to see if they got a feel of heaviness or anything off since I've been feeling a little bit muddy lately, and they agreed. I would like to point out that it is now 8 p.m. at the time we are recording this podcast, and I let Meadows know that I would do this for him, so I'm doing this. Don't forget to take your baby pill, or I'll kick you down the stairs.
Jesus.
That's the only thing. That's the only verse that I have. So I told him I'd sing the baby pill song, so I have now done that. I have apologized officially for being an asshole and going to the wrong side of town when we should have been hanging out and eating dinner. So let's get back to the story. These people are coming over. They're going to check and see if they feel anything. This morning I got a message from my husband saying that he couldn't sleep last night due to being paranoid about what I said to him. So when he went to work and talked to one of his friends, that is friends with our landlord, it turns out our landlord's mom died in the house.
Shut up.
Nothing weird has happened today, but I feel like it's only a matter of time. I shall keep you guys updated if anything else happens. I love you guys so much. You bring so much joy to many people's lives. Thank you so much. And your relationship reminds me a lot of mine and my husband's. Keep on creeping on. All my love, Bree. P.S. The pictures are of my hall and my bedroom door and the sign that fell. I saw the pictures, and I can't read these emails because I'm just forwarding them to my mom to edit.
Yeah.
And when I saw the pictures, I was like, that is such a nice sign. I hope it's not haunted.
Oh.
So I'm glad to hear that it only fell and wasn't damaged because it's such a cool thing to have. Like, I remember we had something that said Casa Diaz in our house, and if I saw that fall off the wall, I would also be freaked out. So that's super fucking creepy. And I kind of want to go in there and see if we have an update on this. But I also don't want to spoil it for myself. So just remember, Bree sent this to us, and when we get to it eventually, if there is an update, we'll all know, like, oh shit, what's gone down now.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much, Bree.
We appreciate you sending that in. Thank you so much.
So this next email is from Black Magic DIY on the twits.
The
Also,
twits, like Twitter?
Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter.
Is this your last one for the show? I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it goes. I am an open spirit Wiccan that has many experiences with the dead, from apparitions to moving objects and disembodied voices.
Holy shit. This one's starting out strong.
Well, anyway, when I was younger, I used to work as a janitor for a church.
Slowing down a bit.
It was during Easter, and I decided to take a break and sit through the Easter play the church was holding that evening. Now, for the most part, when the church is dark, it is dark and not inviting at all. And I believe that.
She just put her hand up for those of you listening.
When I went to Catholic school, at night, I would not want to go in the church or anywhere near it.
Really?
It's dark. It's really, really, really dark in there. And then you have all the effigies, and it's just really creepy looking.
I believe it. I do believe that. For a place that's supposed to have such a palpable and like intense impact on you spiritually, to go in there when it's super, super dark, like that just feels odd, especially because most churches are designed to let so much light in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like have stained glass windows and like the idea of having light in. It's just like to see it just completely dark is just fucking creepy in general.
Like it shouldn't be that dark.
There's that Paranormal Activity where it takes place like with like poor people instead of rich white people that have cameras all over their fucking houses. And it's just like a handheld camera. And that one, they go into a church at night. And I think they fuck around with a Ouija board. I can't remember exactly what they do. But as soon as they went into it, I was like, nope, like this is bad. This is super, super bad.
Yeah.
So those movies are creepy anyways, though. You hate them. I like them.
Okay. So this night was all fine. The play went off with no issues, and at the end, the lights were on. I knew that people were leaving the room, knowing my work would begin shortly. Now the weird part comes next. An older woman comes up behind me and touches my shoulder and tells me to tell my wife that her grandmother says hello. I just brushed it off and said, okay, I will. The part that seemed normal is when I looked back, she was normal looking. Felt solid, warm, and so I said...
It sounds like you felt her to check and see if she was solid and warm.
So I just
you're
said...
sturdy, I like you.
So I just said, okay, I'll make sure I'll tell her. So she left, and no one really noticed her, nor did I see her afterwards. Now after work, I get home and I relay the message to my wife, and she was like, my grandmother's dead. And nor did anyone call themselves her grandmother. Well, my mother-in-law pointed to a picture and asked if it was her, and I said, yeah, but a little younger looking. And come to find out, she died like 20 plus years ago. So the creep factor just rose like 200 notches and made me really not want to work as a janitor ever again.
Wow.
P.S. You can read this on the podcast during the show.
That's super fucking creepy.
Yeah.
To have someone randomly say that to you, like whether or not it was a stranger that was just trying to pass along like a good gesture or someone who might have known them and knew who they were, to make it be someone for it to be someone who looks so similar in like appearance is just super fucking creepy regardless. Like,
yeah.
It's either paranormal or coincidental. Either way, it's creepy. So that was really good. Thank you for sending that. All right, so I'm going to move on into the last story that we have for you folks of the episode, and this subject is, we're so excited, here are our stories, and it starts out like this. Hello, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Jem, in parentheses, she, her, and I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning of 2018, which was basically when the podcast started. And it's the only podcast I listen to. You guys are so cute together and make me laugh. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Also, I'm writing this email with my boyfriend, Nikesh, which I hope I said correctly. He recently started listening as well, so we decided to write an email together, and yay, we are so excited. I don't really have any scary stories, but my sister has a good one, and Nikesh has like 3 really good ones, so we will just write them below. So this, by the way, is my longest of the show, so I am excited to get to this one.
How long is long?
I don't know. It's just long. I just know it's the longest one that I have.
3 Wades.
What? Wow. That's an inside joke. Shout out to Wade and his giant dick. So moving on. My sister's story begins. That's so fucking random that you would just bring that up on episode 50 of Storytime. We're like, we're just going to mention our friend's giant dick. We don't know if it's big. We just like to say it is. We used to like measure everything. Like, how long is this? It's like, it's half a Wade, and it would be like 16 inches. So anyways, getting back to it. Pick a friend, people. Pick a random friend, random dude friend, and just start the fucking legend that he has a giant dick. It's fun. It's fun to do. It might hurt them if they're single, because then it might like set an expectation they can't live up to.
Oh.
But it's just, I don't know.
Our friend's married.
Exactly. So it's fun to do because it's just like, hey, we're going to have fun with this. And it's just like a confidence builder. And it's also very like vulgar and weird. So I'm going to get back to this goddamn story now. My sister's story begins with her working at a daycare. And we just got done talking about giant dicks. So this is really weird.
Sweet Jesus.
She was working there for a few months, and part of her responsibility was to clean up the playroom at the end of the day. The last thing she had to do was close the curtains. So she closed the curtains and turned around towards the door, but she heard a rustling noise, and when she turned around, wow, that was loud. Dear God, I'm surprised that glass didn't shatter.
Sorry.
It spiked the audio. I'm leaving that in. I want everyone to experience it. She turned around. I think people are going to be like, she turned around, and then they hear the clink, and they're going to be like, what happened? She heard a rustling noise, and when she turned around, she saw that the curtains were open again. So immediately this person turns away from the curtains, hears a noise, turns around, and the fucking curtains are all open again.
Holy shiza.
She didn't really think anything of it because she was a little tired and thought she forgot to close the curtains.
Oh my goodness.
So she went back and closed them and headed out. When she heard the rustling sound again, she saw the curtains were open again. This time she knew that she definitely did close the curtains and was like, what the fuck? So she quickly went to close them again. But just after closing the curtains and turning around, the curtains opened on their own again. She kind of just stared at the curtains a little confused, then heard this cow toy going off. So she went to go find it so she could turn it off, but she couldn't find it anywhere. And naturally, she got pretty freaked out and ran, as most people do.
I have a cow toy in the bedroom that I got.
That sounded really weird.
Okay. I have a little stuffed cow charm, and when you like squeeze it, it moos. And that's all I'm imagining is that charm just mooing in the bedroom.
I'm imagining that sound from Constantine when he hands the guy like the toy. If you turn it upside down, it moves. As she was running out, she ran into her boss and told him everything that just happened. He was like, oh yeah, don't tell the parents, but there's a little ghost boy haunting this place, and he really likes his cow toy, but we can't find it, so yeah.
Wow.
The end. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
How do you not tell someone that's closing alone, like, oh yeah, the place is haunted, don't worry about it? That's scary.
Yeah. I would freak out.
Yeah. And then it goes on to say, I don't feel like writing anymore, so Nikesh is going to write his stories now.
That's
and then
hilarious.
A big break, and here we go. So we'll see if like the voice sounds different or not. So the first story is when I was a little baby, and I don't actually remember this since I was like a baby, but my parents told me the story a few times. Anyways, so when I was a baby, my parents always found it difficult to get me to sleep because I would always wake up at 1 a.m. crying really loud, and they couldn't get me to shut up. Quick side note, we have a lot of friends that are new parents or like recurring parents of a newborn.
Yeah.
And I will say that some parents are blessed with babies that sleep through the night and just adhere to your schedule right away.
Yeah.
And some parents have to wake up like every hour and a half to 2 hours or every night at a specific time. And you know what? I don't really tell anyone to pray because it's, you know what, your religion is you and you do you. But folks, pray for those parents because they are sleep deprived and they're still working and they're probably about to go crazy. So just saying, like, shout out to all the new parents out there. So anyways, they found it difficult. Babies waking up at 1 a.m., crying really loud, and they couldn't get me to shut up. This happened for a few months, but whenever they went to their parents' place, so like my grandparents' place, I would sleep very nicely, and so would they. But every time I was at my house, I could never sleep after 1 a.m., which was pretty weird. One day, my dad was telling this story to his friend or something, and the dude suggested my dad to get the house blessed because it sounded kind of creepy. After my parents got the house blessed, the priest person was like, yo, homie, so like we got to bless the kid too because he's sort of got a spirit attached to him.
That's so fucked.
Which is why he cries so damn much. And my parents were like, sure, bro,
gosh.
whatever it takes to shut him up. That's fucking hilarious. After being blessed, I stopped crying for a while, but then it all started again after like a few months. So my parents were like, fuck it, we ain't going to take none of this shit.
Oh my goodness.
So we moved. We always say that people should just move, and his parents were just like, fuck it, we're out of here. And yeah, we lived happily ever after until my brothers were born, and then I was in hell. That's hilarious.
Okay, I thought more spirits came.
I'm sure it was just more
kids.
I'm sure it was just more crying. I'm not sure if it was spirit related, but that's so creepy. You ask them to come bless your house and they're like, also your kid has a spirit attached to them. It's like, you're just running up the bill, fucker. Like, tell me the truth.
Wow.
That's what I would think. That's the first place my head would go is like, is it free or is it going to cost more money? If it's free, bless away. Depending on how much they charge you for like a blessing and not an exorcism.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. Anyway, so the second story takes place like 8 years later when I was like 8 or 9 or something. So I just moved to Canada from Malaysia, and my grandmother had visited us one summer, and she got really sick one day, and eventually she had to go to the hospital. She died like 1 week later or so, which sucked. That's super sad. Small detail, but my dad stayed home for a few weeks because it was his mom, so that's understandable. So to the scary part. So a month or so after my grandmother died, my dad finally went back to work and my mom was home taking care of us. And so in the morning, my 2 younger brothers and I were eating breakfast while my mom was upstairs in her room getting ready to go out after we went to school. While I was eating, I looked to the bottom of the stairs that led upstairs, which was just across from the dining room, and I saw a dark figure standing there and it waved at me. Another waving shadow /
What are
ghost.
the odds?
That's fucking crazy. We must have talked about waving at some point that triggered all these.
Well,
to
I
get
mean,
sent
you did
in.
the double wave thing.
I wave all the time. There must have been something that triggered like this wave of emails to come in at the exact same time. Okay, looking at the bottom of the stairs, this thing is waving at him. At first, I thought it was my dad, so I waved back. Then I went to the washroom or something, and that's when my mom came down, and my brothers were like, "Mom, Nikesh is crazy. He's waving at the stairs now."
Wow.
My mom was like, what the fuck? So when I came, oh my God, this kid had this spirit attached to him. And now he sees this thing and he's waving to it and his brothers can't see it. I just got goosebumps all over. And my mom was like, what the fuck? So when I came back to the dining room, she's like, why are you waving at the stairs? And I was just like, oh, Dad was standing there and he waved. So I waved back.
What?
She was like, what the fuck? He went to work. But I guess she thought from where I was sitting, it looked like there was someone standing by the stairs. So fast forward like an hour and my brothers are waiting to leave and I'm taking my sweet ass time getting ready. So my mom is yelling at me to get out. That's so funny. There's always one kid that like decides he doesn't want to tie his shoes and everyone has to wait on them. Then when I was going down the stairs, I saw my grandmother at the bottom of the stairs, in parentheses, you know, the dead one. And I thought it was weird she was there. Yeah, that would be a little bit weird. But also in my head, it wasn't that weird. And she said bye to me and waved, and I said bye to her and waved back. Then we went to the front door to say bye to my pissed off mom, and she was like, what the fuck takes you so long to leave? I just told her, I had to say bye to grandma before I left, and then I left. My mom told me recently that after I left, she kind of just stood there for a bit like, what the fuck? First the 1 a.m. crying ghost, and now this. So suffice to say, we moved like a year later.
Wow.
I will say, if you moved into a new house and you saw a deceased relative that died in that house, it seems a little bit weird to be like, sorry, Grandma, like we're fucking moving out. Enjoy the house. Like that one's a little bit weird. All right, so they continue, and there is a lot more. So let me try and get this lined up here. And
go.
There we go.
And go.
Please stop doing that. You're stressing me out.
And go.
I have to do the thing with my trackpad where you put 2 fingers and you use it to scroll. Because like tapping it doesn't work and I don't have a mouse.
You know, it'd be great.
What?
Touch screen.
Yeah, it would be great. You know what else would be great? A teleprompter. But you said no to that. So, and I don't have the money for a touchscreen. That's crazy expensive. So teleprompter's like $200.
I feel like a teleprompter wouldn't work anyway because we go on too many tangents.
Well, you just don't scroll it. You have something with you that scrolls it for you. And then when you start talking, you just stop scrolling it yourself. Like it's like a pedal or
just
an
like
app.
you're doing on your computer?
Yeah, the difference is it's just one button you have to tap, and it's not the 2-tap trackpad when you have 6 different apps open. It's one specifically dedicated piece of equipment. So don't tap me. Don't 2-tap me. I don't need that condescending 2-tapper. Anyways, story number 3. But first, sorry they're so long, LOL, but you say you like the long ones, so I try. I'm enjoying this. I don't know about Robin, but I am.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're reading a lot of stream chat while I'm doing this, and I can
Yeah.
tell. So, anyway, this story takes place about 3 to 4 years after the second story. I like that these are in chronological order. It's not very Pulp Fiction-y, but that's okay because this works better. When I was 12.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Pulp Fiction? Oh, that's why it's on the list. It'll probably be one of the first things we watch.
Meh.
So, basically, after having a spirit attached to me, then seeing some random shadow ghost things in my house, my dumbass decided it was a good idea to investigate a haunted barn. You're 12.
Oh.
It just sounds like fun when you're young. And honestly, it still sounds like fun. I'm just smart enough now to know, like, don't mess around with that shit. Anyway, when I was 12, I was part of this cool group called CISV, which is like a camp for kids to travel abroad to international camps and meet delegations from around the world to learn about their culture and lifestyle and all that fun stuff. Pretty cool, I know. I think they're saying that sarcastically, but that sounds fucking awesome, and I wish I was involved in something like that when I was 12. They set up a foreign exchange student program in 5th grade where they were going to send several kids to France, and in place of us, they were going to bring in replacement kids that were French.
Wow.
And what's funny about it is I remember I volunteered and my friend Tim volunteered, and I think we were the only 2 volunteers. There might have been 1 or 2 more.
Wow.
So we were basically like, as soon as we went to the first meeting, we're like, they're going to pick us. Like, it's not going to be a contest. All the other parents are like, I don't want my kid going to France. Because it was
Did
like
you guys go?
Hillbilly, Indiana. The first meeting we were supposed to have with the guy from France who flew to America to talk to us about this exchange program and all
Did
the
he
things.
die?
No, he didn't make it on time for the meeting because he got lost. Because our school was in the middle of fucking nowhere and no one gave him good directions. And we were walking out because we're like, oh, he can't make the meeting. He's lost. He's lost in bumfuck Egypt, Indiana. And no one knew where he was. And like cell phones were like brand new. I think I was like 10 at the time, maybe younger than that. And we were walking out and the parents were like, if he can't make it here on time, like he's not going to be able to take care of our kids. And I remember being like 10 and being like in my head, like he fucking flew from France and you're mad at him for getting lost in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, and they canceled the trip.
Wow.
Straight up canceled the trip. We never made it. I was so bummed. I was going to learn French, live in France for like 3 months. But because parents were like, oh, I'm so pissed off about this. Because everyone was really against the idea.
How cool would that be?
It would have been amazing. It would have been a life experience that probably would have altered the way my life went from then on. And I think about that sometimes when I remember that it existed. Where it's like,
I'm
man,
just trying to imagine you speaking French and it just doesn't compute.
It's so annoying to me thinking about like some asshole parents that decided they wanted to be like outraged at something instead of understanding about something, kept their kids from having an amazing life experience. And more importantly, getting away from those shitty parents for 3 months. So yeah, I think me and my friend Tim, our parents were the only 2 that were like, yeah, this place is in the middle of nowhere. It's not shocking that they got lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun stuff. Don't know why I decided to go into that tangent. Anyways, it's super cool you were in CISV. Hashtag jealous as fuck. Hashtag Jelly Clarkson. Yeah, I knew I was going to be able to use that soon.
Okay.
So anyways, camp thing. Next sentence. The camp thing I was part of was more of an exchange where our delegation of 4 girls and 4 guys, 2 adult leaders, went to Sweden and got partnered up with a Swedish delegation. Basically, we stayed at our partner's house and they showed us what a typical day in Sweden and also showed us around the cool places. So during my trip, my close friend Jamie and I got partnered up with 2 kids who lived across the street from each other, but like also in the farmland type area, so we were only close to each other really because no other houses were around for a while.
Wow.
One day our friend Kayla and her partner Alexis came to hang out with us, and we decided to go check out a barn that was close by. So this isn't only a haunted barn. This is a barn that's in a completely different country, that they're all just like fucking, they're not from that country. It's like Stranger Things. They decided to like have it be in Sweden. So I'm just seeing like this group of kids that are like going Scooby-Dooing in a country that's not theirs. So this is getting really good.
So where they get abducted?
That's messed up. That's really messed up. I like how you go immediately for the true crime part. The barn was part of this land that used to be owned by a couple who apparently died in a fire.
What?
When their house burned down, and the barn was a bit burned too. Since we were such geniuses, we decided we should go at night because, yeah, what could go wrong? So we got to the barn and snuck inside. Then Jamie, his partner Jonas, and I went to the upper level while Kayla, Alexis, and my partner Matthias checked out the bottom level. Anyway, when we got to the top, we saw a room with the door wide open, and Jonas was like, oh, I thought this was always locked, but someone must have opened it. So we were pretty excited to check it out. I like that these kids are like 12 and they're like, yeah, breaking and entering. Fuck it, let's do it.
You're 12. What are they going to do to you?
Well, Jonas and I were. Jamie was thinking logically and thought we should leave. So there's one person like, we really shouldn't fucking be here. I love that. Of course we stayed, or else I wouldn't be telling you this story. But we walked into the room and saw that it was where the tools were kept, and I picked up a sickle-looking thing and pretended to attack Jamie because LOL.
Oh my goodness,
I mean, you're a kid. You see a weapon, you're going to be like, pew, 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 or die.
No.
And he was convinced I would get possessed and Mike Myers everyone.
Wow.
I didn't, by the way. But while we were looking around, I jokingly slammed the sickle thing on the table to scare Jamie. But as soon as I slammed it down, we heard Kayla scream from downstairs.
Shut up. Shut up.
We rushed out and ran down the stairs to see what happened. And we saw Kayla on the ground holding her foot because apparently she felt a really sharp pain in her ankle all of a sudden.
Oh, my goodness.
We thought she might have sprained it or something, so we really didn't think anything of it. And it went away not too long after. Then Mattias asked what we wanted to go check out next, but the rest of us were kind of hesitant since we thought Kayla might still be hurt. So we suggested we head back. Then Mattias asked us, I don't know why in my brain, I was like, then Mattias asked us like to hell and then turned into the devil and disappeared. But that probably didn't happen. That would be crazy though. Then Mattias asked us where we went upstairs. There wasn't too much to look at. And we told him we went into the tool room and he was like, how did you even get in? And we're just like, we just walked in, man. The door was wide open. And he kind of just stared at us and explained that his friend tried to get in a few days ago, but was told that it was locked from the inside and that you needed a key to get in.
Effing way.
At that point, we freaked the fuck out and ran out of that barn, but as we were running out, we heard the tool room door slam shut. As we were leaving the property, a bat attacked my head, which basically solidified Jamie's belief that I was possessed or cursed.
My gosh.
A few days later, we drove by the barn and we looked at the top and there was a giant window, which was part of the tool room, and we could see the door was shut, which was horrifying. The end. Wow, that is super fucking creepy. Anyways, thank you for listening to our stories. We hope you like them. If you didn't, that sucks.
Wow.
That's hilarious. We really love your podcast. We also attached Christmas-themed pictures of Nikesh's Omen babies, as it's November right now. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for this podcast. Love, Jem, and Nikesh. Thank you so much for sending that.
Thank you so much.
It was long. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the long ones, and this is just another reason why. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's super cool to listen to stories about like just different ways people were raised, but how still similarities are like cropping up.
Yeah.
Like, and then we were stupid and we went to a haunted barn in Sweden, which we were not from. Like, that's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good. I appreciated that. So
those stories were really good, and I hate how dumb kids are.
Kids are dumb.
Like, it's just, I'm just trying to like remember how I was as a kid. And I didn't go sneaking into haunted places or anything, but I totally would sneak out, like tell my friend like we should go and pick up fries from this restaurant and do it before my mom comes to pick us up.
Wow.
And so we'd like speed our bikes over there or something like that. You know what I mean?
You were a wild one.
Yeah.
Right
so
on.
Crazy.
So thank you to everyone who sent us your stories this episode. It was amazing to read them. They're just really fun to go through, and they're all so different. And then when they're all very similar, like the whole shadow waving thing, it gets really creepy.
Yeah.
It's fun to see. So thank you to everyone who submitted. Anyone who is listening to this story that it triggered a memory or a story that they've heard before, you can reach out to us and send us that, and we would love to hear it. You can email storytime@scarish.com, message us on Facebook, facebook.com/scarishpodcast. If you go there, click like on the page. It really does help us out.
Yeah.
If you want to message us directly on Instagram, @ScarishPod. Instagram is @ScarishPodcast. That's my bad, dog. Twitter is @ScarishPod. If you go to scarish.com, which is our website, you can click contact us and just send us your email that way. If you don't have an email address, you don't want to share it with us, whatever the case may be, you can submit it through there. And then if you want to join any of our like social media accounts where we chat with you guys, the Scary Spooky Friends group on Facebook, you can find that just by going to facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can post your story there for instant feedback from the community if you want. You can also go to our Discord server. Best way to go to Discord, go to scarish.com, our website, scroll down. On all the pages, there's a link to every single one of our Facebook or every single one of our social media accounts. It's just an icon. Find the Discord one. Click that. Join us. For anyone who listens to these episodes and does not watch us live, we would love to have you watch a live episode because they're really fun. We had some people come in for the first time and watch. I think they had a blast. We really hope they did. Go to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. This is totally free. It will probably ask you to set up an account, but that's just something you can set up really quick. You don't have to attach a credit card, none of that stupid shit. And if you don't want to do that, you can also just go to youtube.com/scarish and watch the shows every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We would love to have you. It's a blast. These episodes are so much fun to do. If you want to know what it's like recording one live versus what the finished product is when the Friday release comes out for the podcast, go to youtube.com/scarish and just go to the Storytime episode playlist and just check one out. And it's kind of fun to see the discrepancies, the difference, because it's a lot of interaction. And Robin and I definitely are meaner to each other because we make mistakes and we make fun of each other. So it's a good time. Robin, if folks wanted to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to Patreon.
January Patreon push.
Patreon.com/scarishpodcast. It's much less annoying than Adam is. And you can donate as little as $1. And it's a monthly subscription, but we do have tiers that get physical products. So I just ordered a new sticker to mail out. It's like going to be a 3-inch circle sticker to mail out to our lovely $10 tier, our badge of honor tier and up. Then we have ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. And that's for one-time donations, and all those donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup. We do have the Redbubble store. We have a Teespring store. I posted the link on here. It's also on our Facebook page. If you guys want some shirts and stuff like that.
I'll be putting a page up on the website as well so that you folks can go to the places where you can purchase merchandise from us, which is going to be through those stores because it's a little bit cheaper for you folks to get shipping and handling and stuff like that and sent directly to you. Plus, we can upload designs a little bit easier. But yeah, we definitely want to have you have access to stuff because we get a lot of requests for a bunch of different things. So we want to be able to provide those products to you folks.
Yeah, all the stickers and badges and zipper pulls and stuff like that I do myself. I'm working on doing some acrylic like keychains, and those hopefully will get done sometime in the future. Please be patient because it is just me designing everything and trying to make time to do the designs and get them manufactured and stuff, like between school and work and life things and doing the podcast, like researching all that stuff. All of it is time consuming. So hopefully I can get some cool stuff out to you guys soon. But Teespring and Redbubble are good outlets otherwise. So
yeah, absolutely. And thank you to everyone who's donated to us in the past. Because of the donations that we've gotten through the live streams and through things like ko-fi.com, we're going to be purchasing a new microphone that we'll be able to take with us to the Winchester Mansion, which we are now going to be going to. And like Robin said, I don't know if we said it on the live show, if we said it when we were talking to the stream chat, but we're hoping to target spring break for Robin, so we have some time. So it'll be like March. Sometime in March, we're going to let everyone know when we're going to be there and try and arrange it as best as possible. But we'll be able to buy a microphone that we can take with us on the road and not these things that I'm holding in front of us because there's no way we could travel with this.
Yeah.
And we're also going to try out something new once we get that microphone with the live streams to see how well that microphone works in like a closed setting. So maybe we can get these microphones out from in front of our face. And if the quality is still really good, then just know that that is because of how the dedication from our listeners is and allowing us to get something like that might improve the production of the show. And we really appreciate it. We appreciate everything you folks do for us, leaving reviews on iTunes. We went up like 5 reviews this past week, and it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, you guys are so
Thank you to everyone
supportive.
who goes and does that. Even the people that are like, I'm going to go do that, and you really mean it, and you haven't done it yet, we still appreciate you for thinking that.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. So I don't think there's anything left to do for Storytime number 50. So, Robin, I'm going to go ahead and let you do the sign out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Cool. Bye.